Today's video, we're going to a brewery that, well, basically, I don't think I've even reviewed on the channel before, but this is Eirene IPA, coming in at 6.1% from Tartarus Beers. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to Tartarus Beers. Tartarus Beers, yeah, I just want to pronounce this. And this is Eirene IPA. Now, all of their beers all got this very sort of striking artwork. I think they, I just had a quick look on their website, and they have a digital artist in-house. So I think, he does all this sort of stuff. And they're all sort of like mythical, well, not mythical, yeah, sort of mythical gods. Now, Eirene, I've got it on here on the website, is one of the justices, also known as the Seasons. She is a goddess of peace. She was fathered by Zeus. Her mother Themis is also a personification of justice. She's usually portrayed as a young woman carrying a cornucopia, scepter, and a torch or riveton. I'm not going to read anymore because the words are too big for me. So obviously they're all sort of gods and stuff. Just see, yeah, goddess of Greek gods. They're Greek, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, striking artwork. There's lots of writing on there, but there's no hops. I don't know what the hops are, and I picked this up from a local bottle shop. I wouldn't necessarily buy them. And I said in my intros the first time I reviewed a Tartarus Beers, but that's incorrect because in between doing that, I had a quick look on my YouTube channel, and I have, but 2 years ago, I reviewed Jackalope, a New England IPA, and I said, nice artwork, shame about the beer. So let's crack this one open, see if we can work out what the hops are, and let's more importantly hope that we've got a beer that basically is as good as the artwork. Because I think, you see these sort of beers on the shelf, and if you don't know the brewery or whatever, you're going to think, oh yeah, I like the looks of that can artwork, I'm going to pick it up. Little do you know what the beer is. And certainly when I pour that beer, I'm disappointed because it is classed as a New England hazy IPA, but I mean, look at that. That looks like a lager, doesn't it? That's not hazy. I mean, I can see my hand through there. You can see me through that glass. It's not even slightly hazy, that. So a little bit disappointed. So let's see what the aroma's like. Yeah, a little bit disappointing. There's a sort of slight citrusy orange aroma, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be much in the way of an East Coast beer. I think it's more West Coast. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Yeah. Actually, I think it tastes better than it looks. It's quite light. There's a little bit of zippy carbonation, but generally it's quite soft. And the flavours they're not complex. There is like the aroma, it's orangey sort of citrus, maybe a little bit of tropical mango coming into there. But I was expecting a little bit of, I don't know, a bit of bitterness, a bit of pininess, but I'm not getting any of that at all. It's quite juicy. It doesn't look juicy, but it tastes very juicy. And the orange is there's a sweetness. I think that helps. Orange sweetness. Sometimes with a lot of beers when you get orange, I always find that orange equals, usually you get the bitterness. But you get much more sweetness in this flavour. Yes, it's light. It's easy to drink. Mouthfeel wise, as I said, it's light. So it's quite thin as well. The carbonation is a little bit zippy, but at the same time, it's not like lager carbonation. That's better. There is a slight dry finish on the back end. It's all right. I mean, it's the sort of beer that's like, it's almost a little bit like a more traditional, I don't know, we use that word traditional, or it's more traditional IPA, i.e. it's not hazy, or it's not basically, you can't really say it's not a hazy IPA, New England IPA, but at the same time, it's not a West Coast, it has the looks of actually there's a bit more haze to it now. I think the last drop that I poured didn't give it a bit of haze. It's more of a West Coast look. and it's closer, I think, to a West Coast, but a pure West Coast fan, which you know I'm not. I think they would be disappointed because there's not enough bite in this beer. So we call it a traditional IPA, for want of a better word. Really, that also sort of like you can lump all our very average IPAs into that don't really have a sort of a real clear style. They're just an IPA, and you see you get a lot of those when they're cheap, or if you go into a pub and you see something that says IPA and you think, oh, I'm not sure I know that, or it's on cask, you get it and it's a bit like this. Hops wise, well, I always think when I taste that orangey flavour that I'm thinking of, it's got to have some Amarillo in it. And really, that's the sort of hop. I mean, you can get a bit of that orange from something like El Dorado, because there's lots of different flavours. It's just not enough oomph in it to really sort of categorise the hops. So I'm probably thinking it could have Citra in it, could have a Amarillo in it. It could even have something like Chinook or something like that. There is a slight hint of something different in there. So yeah, it's quite refreshing. The flavours generally are pleasant. You know, they're not the sort of West Coast dry, overly bitter. There's a more sweetness than you would expect from a West Coast beer. But it's just not the sort of thing that floats my boat. You know, it's just, I want a little bit, I want smoother, I want a bit more medium body. I want more sort of complexity in terms of flavour. It's very one note, this. And ultimately what I want is a better beer. That's it. So I've drank enough. Let's get some scores. Okay, let's do the scores live for Tartarus Beers. I think it could actually be pronounced Eirene IPA. It's not a very sort of exotic Greek goddess sort of name, is it? Eirene. But this could be an Eirene IPA, 6.1%. We don't know what the hops are. I'm not really confident in terms of saying what the hops are. I think probably Amarillo and Chinook. They're my guesses, but I could be completely wrong. I've looked on the website, there's no detail in terms of what hops are in it. We'll go for the scores. So we start with aroma. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't smell great. I'm sure when I looked at this, it was a hazy IPA. And I suppose that is hazy-ish. But I had a quick look in between these, and I thought, well, I'll have a look at everyone else, whatever it's at. And when I was looking for, sorry, I've confused myself. When I went back onto the YouTube channel, I saw mine, and I looked and saw other people in there that had obviously reviewed other Tartarus beers, and I saw that they'd reviewed this, but all of them were at least 7 or 8 months ago. So I worry that it may be that old. Maybe it's not as good because of that. I didn't look at the reviews because I didn't have time, but I maybe go back and look at those. But yeah, aroma, it's orangey. There's more of a sort of that twang that I don't like. I can't describe. So I'm going to give it 12 for aroma. Appearance wise, well, again, it's a hazy IPA, but and actually looking at it now, there's more haze than when I first poured it out. But it's not the sort of colour and expectations, and it's a little bit lifeless. And you know, our class appearance in terms of it was thin, and it weren't very hazy to begin with. So I'm going to give it 7. That's probably generous. Flavour-wise, well, I thought, yes, it's orangey, bit of mango, but the more I drink it, it's actually getting worse in the glass than when I first drank it. I don't know whether it's because it's warmed up a bit, or my taste buds have changed, or whether it's just sitting in the glass, but I'm going to give it 32. Give it the benefit of the doubt, because at first I thought it was quite pleasant, it was refreshing. Yes, it's light, yes, it's thin. But there was a flavour that was all right. But I'm getting more of that sort of typical, when you get orangey flavours and you get that sort of dryness, you get that slight coating, a little bit of sort of, you know, pininess coming in as well. Not really my flavours. So 32 for flavour. Value for money. Now, I think this was about a £5. May have been even a bit less than that. but it's a 6.1% beer. And as much as I love the artwork, you know, you spend all that effort making great artwork, then put your bloody hops on it, you know, put some more detail. I mean, it says there's barley, wheat, oats, hops and yeast, but put the bloody hops. How difficult is it for someone to actually write the hops on a can of beer? I don't understand that. If anything, I get concerned that there isn't any hops in it. It's just some sort of magical formula that they've come up with, or they've just sort of scraped together lots of different things that they found lying around and made the beer and thought, I can't remember what the hops were. So I think you've got to trust. I trust beers that have the hops on it, and they don't have the hops. So what was I saying? I don't even know what I'm up to now. Oh yeah, value. So I'm going to give it 7. I don't know why I'm taking points off for not having the name of the hops. I don't usually do that, but I think value. I think, you know, it's just an average beer, and if you're spending a £5 on an average beer, you've got to knock some points off for value. So I'm giving it 7. And what I will knock up points for is overall experience, because I'm a little bit disappointed. I mean, my caption for this could almost be the same as it was for that beer 2 years ago. Nice artwork, shame about the beer. In fact, I might even put that as my caption, but don't hold me to it because I haven't done the caption yet. It's just one of those, you know, this is a brewery that does great artwork, and you look at it and you think, this is going to be a good beer because look at it, it looks great, but it's not. And as I said, this is the second, now I know it's the second beer that I've had from them. I'm not going to buy beer from them because I've had 2 beers that have been average. And, you know, I want something that's just above average, and then I go, oh yeah, that'll give them another go. So I just don't think they're a top brewery. They're based just outside of Leeds, in case you wondered. I mean, maybe one day I'll find myself in their tap room and they'll probably hold me to gunpoint and say, you said bad things about our beers. Look, these are the better ones. So maybe I made the wrong choice. But yeah, this is not the best. So I'm going to give it 11 for overall experience. We've waffled on, but we've still got down, because I can work the scores up, to Housewife's Favourite, 69. That's the score for this one, 69 out of 100. So it's not even recommended. It's just a dip under that. It's the Bon Jovi of craft beers, if you can remember my rankings, because very rarely I'll have a Bon Jovi of craft beers. But this is a style above substance. The can artwork, and I've said it once, I'll say it 16 times, it is good. And you look at it and you think, oh, what am I in for this? But it's disappointing. Disappointing. Spend less on the artwork and more on making the beer better, I think. So, yeah, a little bit disappointed. But I thought I'd try it, and I wasn't even sure I was going to review it. But I thought, yeah, I'll review it because I haven't reviewed this brewery much. And I drink a lot of beer, the same breweries, because I know they're good and I know I'm going to get a good beer. So, yeah, that's enough for me today. I can't believe I'm 5 years in and I still feel like this is my first video every time I do one. So until the next one, please like, subscribe. Maybe I should have that at the beginning of the video. I don't know. But like and subscribe if you're still here. Surely if you're still here, you must want to like and subscribe. And until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.